Zuma's MK party takes SABC to court for using term GNU. Former President Jacob Zuma's MK party has filed court papers with the Johannesburg High Court demanding that the SABC stop using the phrase Government of National Unity GNU, claiming it is misleading. MKP wants the court to declare the public broadcaster's use of the term unconstitutional. In its papers, MKP mentioned that the SABC, being the primary public broadcaster relied upon the South Africans for news, should refrain from using the term GNU. The SABC, as a first respondent national public broadcaster, is supposed to operate under the guidance of principles such as respect for the Constitution, obedience to the statutory and other regular frameworks governing its operations, independence, accuracy, and impartiality, to mention a few, the papers state. According to the party, the current government does not qualify to be called a GNU, and therefore they want the term scrapped from the broadcaster. In the media briefing last month, Zuma said that the party's legal counsel had written a letter of demand to the SABC to stop deliberately misleading South Africans by referring to present sellout coalitions as GNU or Government of Provincial Unity. He said failure to do so would result in them marching to the SABC to demand the truth. We know that the private media has to serve its masters, but the SABC belongs to us. It has no right to feed our people with lies and to pursue narrow agendas at our expense. We shall seek an urgent meeting with the SABC board and management to raise this issue and, if necessary, educate them on the correct political terms that are appropriate. If they do not listen, the people will march to the SABC offices to demand the truth. If there is a government of national unity, why are its founding documents only signed by Mr. Mbalula and Helen Zille? He said. The SABC recently responded to MK complaint, saying the allegations were unarguable. It stressed that the letter of demand was irregular action and without validity, and that the correct process should be followed by filing a complaint. Zuma forges ahead with cease and desist application against SABC over the term GNU. Leader of the Umkhonto weSizwe Party MKP, Jacob Zuma, has launched an application in the Gauteng High Court, Johannesburg, to force the SABC to stop using the terms Government of National Unity or GNU in relation to the current government under the President Cyril Ramaphosa. Last month, Zuma revealed that he had asked his lawyers to write a letter of demand seeking to stop the public broadcaster from referring to the Ramaphosa-led 7th administration as a GNU. We have asked our lawyers to write a letter of demand to the SABC to stop deliberately misleading South Africans by using terms like GNU or GPU, Government of Provincial Unity, to refer to present sellout coalitions. There is no Government of National Unity in South Africa. There is a white-led and holy alliance between the DA and the ANC of President Cyril Ramaphosa. It is sponsored by big businesses and it's for the benefit of the markets and not the people, Zuma said during a media briefing in Sandton. In the court papers, the MKP said Zuma was acting in his personal capacity as a former president of the country as well as leader of the MKP in seeking suitable remedies to stop the SABC from using this term in its broadcasts and news coverage. granting just equitable remedies in terms of Section 172, subsection 1, subsection B of the Constitution, including the immediate dissemination of this order to SABC platforms. Alternatively to paragraphs 3 and 4, reviewing and setting aside the decision of the first, second, and/or third respondents which was made and or communicated by means of an SABC letter dated 28 June 2024 on the grounds of perjury and/or illegality, the court's papers say. Zuma said he wants the SABC, its board chairperson and its CEO, as first, second, and third respondents to show why the decision should not be reviewed or set aside. In terms of the Rule 53, subsection 1, subsection B, alternatively in terms of Section 173 of the Constitution, the first, second, and/or third respondents are called upon to dispatch within 5 days after receipt of this notice of motion to the registrar the record of all documents and electronic records that relate to the decision referred to in paragraph 4 above. Meanwhile, the SABC recently responded to MKP's complaint, saying the allegations were unarguable. It stressed that the letter of demand was an irregular action and without validity, and that the correct processes should be followed by filing a complaint. In the meantime, IEC dares MK party to a court battle over vote rigging allegations. Despite the Umkhonto weSizwe Party MKB having recently temporarily withdrawn its application to have the recent election results set aside and declared null and void through the courts, the Electoral Court has agreed to the Electoral Commission of SA's IEC request to hear the matter. The matter has been set for a virtual hearing following the recent directives of the Electoral Court. Be pleased to take notice that pursuant to the provisions of the rules of this court, the above-mentioned application has been set down for a virtual hearing on Monday, 29 July 2024 at 9 a.m. If the application is not to be proceeded with, kindly notify this office. Write to Registrar of the Electoral Court, Delisile Nhlapo, in her letter dated Monday, July 15th. The move is in light of the serious accusations the MKP and the African Transformation Movement ATM has leveled against the IEC over the free and fairness of the May 29th elections. Both parties have called for the return of the elections due to alleged incidents of rigging and fraud regarding an alleged 9 million votes said to be missing. Last week, the IEC wrote to the Electoral Court saying the notice of withdrawal by the MKP was irregular and pleaded with the court to set down the matter for hearing and argument so that the MKP's allegations of vote rigging could be made public and tested. It is an absolute imperative that the matter is ventilated publicly and a final decision made by the Electoral Court, at the very least, to confirm whether the allegations against the Electoral Commission were made vexatiously and without just cause, said Advocate Moeti Kanyane on behalf of the IEC. The IEC said the MKP's notice of withdrawal did not contain a bid for fees, in contrast to what Rule 41 anticipated as punitive costs that were necessary to prevent parties from abusing the legal system. The withdrawal is not indication that we do not have a compelling case for the orders we seek, attorney for the MKP Barnabas Xulu said in the letter. However, in a statement, the MKP remained defiant over its claims. Party leader Jacob Zuma recently said his party had ample evidence to argue its case. The ATM in its application through party leader Vuyo Sungula, confirmed that it had made its submission to the Electoral Court where more than 19 political parties, among them the ANC, DA, EFF, IFP, Freedom Front Plus, United Democratic Movement, African Independence Congress, COPE, Good Party, ACDP, PAC, Action SA, Rise Mzansi, Build One SA, and Patriotic Alliance are cited as respondents by the Electoral Court in its directive. As the African Transformation Movement ATM, and have submitted affidavits detailing various irregularities, discrepancies, and international malicious actions that occurred during the 2024 National Provincial Elections (NPE). Our affidavits touch on a range of issues, including the accuracy and inconsistency of the voters' roll, discrepancies affecting ballot boxes, issues related to vote counting, challenges related to Section 24A, malfunctioning of voter management devices (VMDS), and misconduct of the Electoral Commission IEC officials, said Sungula. Last week, in a scathing answering affidavit, DA Federal Chairperson Helen Zille slammed the ATM for its baseless vote rigging court application to the Electoral Court. And that's it from INJIBS Network. Stay tuned to our celebrity and gossip news.